So today we have a very special and very unique episode for you guys. So if you don't remember, last year on October 20th, 2023, I did my first ever live show to a real audience, 1,300 people at the Paramount Theater in Austin, Texas. I was absolutely terrified before I went on stage, but my goodness, it was like one of the best experiences of my life. And if you were there, thank you for being there. You're amazing. It was such an amazing time. I'm so glad I got to meet so many of you. But critically, we were actually filming a documentary right around this time about me becoming Mr. Ballin. And it was about basically my journey from, the TikTok days to YouTube and podcasting. And then we kind of capped off the documentary by including footage from this live show. And so right now, we're going to premiere that documentary that we're so proud of. Only a handful of people have seen this, and so this is a big deal. This is a really cool thing. We hope you enjoy it. But also, stick around till the end of this documentary, because we have quite possibly the biggest announcement ever out of the strange, dark, and mysterious universe. It's the biggest one yet. I think you're going to be really excited about it. And hint, hint, it's alluded to throughout the documentary what the announcement is going to be. But before we get into this amazing documentary and big announcement at the end, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, on the hottest day of the year, offer to give the like button a ride to work. And when they get in your car, blast the heat on full and refuse to stop. Even though it hurts you, it hurts them too. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into the world premiere of the documentary, Becoming Mr. Ballin. Enjoy. Hi, my name is John Allen. I am better known as Mr. Ballin online, and I would say that I am a professional storyteller.
Your ability to storytell is impeccable. Some of the stories that you pick, I've just like it screws with my mind a little bit.
All their tents have been slashed open, but from the inside, and inside the tents was all their gear.
You are the channel that I binge. Told my mom about, she binges it. Told my brother about, he binges it.
My comfort zone, yeah, literally being a storytelling mode.
Well, future you, I hope the show went incredibly well. I hope that you got to enjoy being on stage and got to really just be in the moment. I'm very nervous, but I'm very excited. So we'll see how it goes.
I grew up in a town called Quincy, Massachusetts. It's just south of Boston, Massachusetts. My mother and my father were both and are still just brilliant people. My father is, he's a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. He ran an investigative journalism team at the Boston Globe called Spotlight. My immediate family, the way we communicated was like, we'd send these emails to each other that were like totally unnecessarily long about like really kind of meaningless things. Everybody over communicated. Everyone had to write in beautiful prose and like tell whole full-length stories about the smallest of things. And so I was literally raised effectively by storytellers. I always viewed myself as being kind of like the black sheep of my family, because my two sisters, my older and younger sister, like totally excelled in school, and my older sister became a Pulitzer Prize winner twice actually, and my younger sister is a PhD scientist working out of a Harvard lab.
I was like the guy that kind of bombed high school. Not because I was dumb, I just didn't really try. Effectively flunked out my first semester in college because I didn't go to class. But fast forward a bit, after I did wind up graduating college, I got my act together. I joined the Navy and I become a Navy SEAL. And one of the things people don't know about really the military, unless you're in the military, is there is lots and lots of public speaking that goes on all the time. I learned that my strength was definitely like, I can tell stories exceptionally well, and I can remember a lot of details if I have a story in my mind. There wasn't ever a day where I thought to myself, you know, here's the big idea. Generally speaking, social media and, you know, creating content allows people, kind of relative nobodies, to post things on the internet, and if the world likes it, it can elevate that person and create, you know, a brand or, you know, a new YouTube channel. I really missed the mark for a number of years trying to create content that people would like. I mimicked other people's content style on TikTok, which was so cringy. I was like doing dance videos and like comedy sketches. Nobody was interested. But I knew the one thing that I've always been just fundamentally interested in is strange, dark, and mysterious content. I put together this really crappy TikTok video, crappy in the sense that I formatted it all wrong, like the script didn't really make much sense, but it had the meat and potatoes of this really fascinating story about these hikers that go missing in the 1950s in Russia.
When you finish this video, you're going to Google 2 words. In 1959, 9 very experienced Russian hikers set off on a 16-day expedition into the mountains. 7 days in and some bad weather forced them to...
And I post this story to TikTok, and I was actually at a water park with my family in Pennsylvania. Because we're going to be in the water park, I couldn't have my phone, it would get soaked, so I left it in the room. We went to the park all day, and I came back to my room, and I opened up my phone. The video that I had posted about the missing hikers had like 5 million views. And to give some perspective, I think the most views I ever got on any piece of content ever to that point was like maybe 10 or 20,000 over like a year-long period. I launched into this insane, you know, making content 24/7 to try to replicate the success of that first video. After a few months of doing that, and the TikTok account had really grown quickly, I transitioned to YouTube. I remember I pulled my wife aside, Amanda, and I tried to explain to her, like, hey, so I have this thing going on TikTok, and I'm gonna like do it on YouTube. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I think it's something. But in order for me to do it, I need you to take the kids basically 24/7 and let me only work like 24/7 until this becomes whatever it becomes. And my wife's like, okay, I'll do that for you.
So I wanted to bring you into my dojo where I create all of my content. It's called the Mustard Room. It's pretty high speed, so don't be intimidated. It's my setup. It's nice and neat. This is where all the magic happens.
I kid you not, I was in that back room in Pennsylvania with the space heater and the rodents in the walls, like churning out content for like 6 months. And I was sleeping in there. I mean, literally, it was my life. She believed in me, and so she let me do it. And it really is what allowed the channel to grow.
John was flagged to me by my buddy Giacomo. So Giacomo's the guy that hit me up. He's like, if anyone can work for this guy, it's you. And I knew nothing of digital. I knew nothing of YouTube, nothing of TikTok. I don't even have social media. I didn't understand what I was looking at when I looked at John's content. But me being a veteran, and I've always worked with veterans in entertainment, I was like, I like what he's doing. I can believe in this guy and what his message is. And I could tell that there was something there. So I was like, all right, let me, have you guys tried to sign him? They're like, yeah, we tried to sign him like 8 months. He won't sign with us. He barely take a call. He's a former Navy SEAL, makes content from his phone. What's a manager to this guy? I go, you guys are just approaching it wrong. I reached out to him. I got his email, subject line, I'm a combat vet, love your material. I work with Mr. Beast. I also have some experience in the traditional space, and I love your content, huge fan. Hit me up if you ever have any questions. Not here to sign you, not here to make any money, just one vet to another. About a week later, he hit me up. He's like, dude, I was running through some emails, deleting everything, and I saw your email, and I'm down to talk. It was funny because these guys who like rep Mr. Beast couldn't sign this guy, and so for me, I was like, if I'm gonna work with anybody, this is the guy.
Not everyone gets to find their unicorn, but I did in Nick, and I think Nick found his unicorn in me. and that's what it has allowed us to grow. Where I know what I'm responsible for, and it's the thing I know I'm good at, storytelling, and Nick does everything else.
You can't just insert yourself in someone's life. You have to just show, that you're there for the right reason. My way was like, all right, I lived in Austin, he was in PA, but I put a reminder on my calendar every Sunday. Ping John, say what up, and just ask him if he needs any help with anything, and just start to kind of build a relationship organically.
I mean, Nick really, single-handedly has grown from me, the one-man band, Mr. Ballin, to a full-blown studio. I've been in the back room of my house in Pennsylvania that had no heat and rodents running in the walls, to now have a literal studio with all the right equipment and soundproofing.
This is the podcast setup. It's about half of the studio here. And the most important part of the podcast setup is right here. Boom. Got the headlights, the functioning headlights on the set. Very cool. I bring this guy down here. And boom, this is the podcast setup. And if we're doing a live event, you'd see the cool headlights. But I always turn them on no matter what. And over here, we have the YouTube setup, as you can see, with the green screen here. This actually took so many coats of paint. This is not a simple thing to create. It needs to be totally uniform. So sick little green screen, and then the Mr. Ballin director's chair. Sit here. Fire up my laptop, and then I record YouTube episodes right here. And believe it or not, even though I have this whole studio, I still record the YouTube episodes on my phone. And so I literally just put my phone on this little $5 tripod, sit down here, and if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious, then you've come to the right place, because that's all we do inside of the strange, dark, and mysterious studio. And so this is it. This is where I spend all my time. I do my research and writing and scripting over here, and obviously YouTube as well, and this is it. I really don't read from the script. It's not because I'm better than that or something. It's more the way I work, the way I tell stories is I need to inhabit the story and really internalize the details of the story. And so I get the script and I study the script and basically memorize not the words on the page, but the structure of the story. And then once it's in my head, I've got it. I wanted to make it really clear to anybody that was going to tune in and watch a piece of content from me. If you wait to the end of the story, it will be worth it. Every week we're putting out multiple stories that are, 7,000 words, which is 30 to 45 minutes long, that are fully researched, and written out. There's an enormous amount of work, and this is how many YouTubers begin. They just kind of do it all themselves, but it's totally not sustainable. I have this mantra that I try to preach to my kids, which is do things that scare you, because generally speaking, things that scare you are actually the things you want to do. I'm so impressed with people that literally take the stage and perform in front of a live audience. To me, stand-up comics are some of the bravest people you'll ever meet. That is an otherworldly level of courage to go up there and face potential ridicule and bombing. I'll admit that I was still resistant to the idea, even though now I have the material and I have the audience that would listen to it, but I was still just nervous. I want the people in the audience to be drawn into the stories I'm telling the same way they are at home when they're watching YouTube or listening to a podcast. And it's a privilege to have the opportunity to stand in front of people that want to be there. The 1,000+ people who have chosen to be here, that have flown from out of the United States to be here just to listen to me. Yes, that's pressure, but it's also a privilege. Wow. Taking it all in. Hello, team.
Hey, how you doing?
Wow. Very strange, dark, and mysterious in here. This is amazing, whoever designed and did this. Amazing. I don't know what I had in mind, but it was way less cool than this. This is infinitely better than I imagined.
This is my daughter, Mr. Baldwin. She loves you. We're here because of you. We flew all the way from North Carolina.
We love your show. You're doing great. And thank you for serving our country.
Excited to be here. Can't wait to see you. For years, I've been watching all of your videos. I got my husband to watch all of them as we go to bed. They have become our bedtime routine, so thank you, Mr. Baldwin, for everything that you've done for us.
John's fans are like the strongest, most loyal community I've ever seen. And the fact that he gets to bring that to them in person is just fascinating.
Rare shot of a hatless, in uniform Mr. Baldwin. Very cool. I'm actually feeling pretty calm.
Oh yeah.
All things considered.
Yep, wanted to make sure you had a good feel of like when you're on stage, what they're gonna see, how you're gonna see when, you probably won't see too deep in.
I probably will see virtually no one.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Imagine everyone naked. That's the trick.
He's so primed. He's such a professional. And he's been ready for this since he started telling stories.